Hello my friends, let's go straight to the front lines. We have some of the interesting news coming from the Pokrovsk Dobropilla direction, where Ukrainian army tries to encircle one more Russian group not far away from Mayak village. Well, in Kucherev Yar, Russians were encircled for already almost 1 month. However, even without supplies, they still keep their presence. They don't want to surrender. Ukraine intensifies the attacks from Pankivka and Vladimirivka villages. Both of those were recently liberated. And it seems like even without gaining Mayak village under control, Ukraine decided to press a Russian group here from both of the sides. At the same time, close to eastern flank, Russia tries to attack Ukrainian positions to cause the Ukrainian army to reinforce this group. Well, so far Russians keep their presence in this attack hump. They want to use it further for next attacks, but it seems like Ukraine has all of the chances to cut it down. And today there was the visit of President Zelenskyy to Dobropilla direction. The exact place is unknown really, but it's very close to the front line. President greeted our warriors, and you'll never see this stuff coming from Vladimir Putin. He is too scared to go at the edge of the front lines. Well, here Zelenskyy recorded his usual address to people of Ukraine about the situation on the front lines, and he says about the successful Ukrainian counterattacks in that region. But here, guys, I want to be honest with you, because the situation occurred in Pokrovsk Dobropilla direction was because of the Ukrainian command misjudgment of the situation. So Russians managed to break through in this direction. You see it here, right? It was the major Russian breakthrough. For a couple of days they advanced by 17 of the kilometers, even penetrating the newly built Ukrainian defense line, the main one in Donbass. So clearly it was a mistake in organizing of Ukrainian defense in this specific region, and only with the help of the really capable forces like the 1st Azov Corps or 225th Brigade, 93rd Brigade, Ukraine managed to cut Russians in Kucherev Yar and also start the counteroffensive. But still, you see that Russia has its presence here. So it's very easy to lose the territory, but you need lots of the time and efforts to regain everything back. Especially right now that Russia deployed the record number of their forces in Donbass. And because very capable Ukrainian emergency brigades are now busy in Pokrovsk, well, Russia sent some of the reinforcements, for example, to Kupiansk. And Ukraine now tries to eliminate this fire, sending, for example, the 3rd Army Corps, the ex-3rd Assault Brigade. It's been already deployed in this direction and tries to fight against Russian assaults towards the city. For Kupiansk now it's critical, way more critical than for Pokrovsk, and Russians unfortunately advanced here for the last 24 hours. You see over here they increased this bridgehead. So before there was the opportunity to cut those Russian clouds and to cut Russians over here, but now Russia expanded it and it's no longer an option. And you see how they expand the sleeve going to Kupiansk. If Russians go to Sobolivka and further south, they may cut the only robust supply connection for Kupiansk. Plus they also offend from the eastern side. We have this update yesterday, today. Their plan is to jam Kupiansk from the north and from the east. By the way, just to remind you that this fight is ongoing in the Kharkiv region. Kharkiv region was not officially included in the Russian constitution, which again marks that Putin's action here is to occupy Ukraine entirely, including Kharkiv Oblast, Dnipropetrovsk, Sumy, where he deployed Russian army, and where officially Russia haven't conducted any sort of the fake referendums to join those regions to annex them. Alright, some of the drone videos we have from the 3rd Assault Brigade. It's been deployed already in the Kharkiv region. We have newly published videos on their channel telling about it. And Kupiansk is also a Kharkiv direction, so I guess they operate in this region. So info about their deployment to Kupiansk region actually could be correct. OSINT Analytic Micro Center 3 also confirms the situation update in Kupiansk direction, so Russia now has 2 of the attack vectors. One is here in this bridgehead, and they want to expand from the east. Yeah, they still have to go for a long distance here. Also, they continue to press Ukrainian army from the northeastern part, so we'll see that. The situation for Kupiansk is not good, absolutely. And experienced fire teams are simply not enough to compensate the Russian attacks. Russia poured lots and lots of the reinforcements, and still Russians are not attacking with its major force that they accumulated in Pokrovsk direction. They're waiting for something, for the proper time to push with everything they have, but I hope that Ukraine is ready for even that scenario. So yeah, according to the latest information, Ukraine actually tries to counterattack here towards Kalinovo, but Russians took more ground. Also, Russians deployed their most capable unit, drone unit, Rubicon, so there are just swarms of drones flying around, including the city of Kupiansk. By the way, the chief of command of the Russian armed forces in Kupiansk direction is the traitor of Ukraine, Sergei Starozhenko, who was the commander of the 36th Ukrainian Naval Defense Brigade back in 2014. Basically, he surrendered himself and his unit to Russia, he obtained the Russian passport and continued his service in the Russian army. As you see, career is kind of impressive. Now he fights against his own people. I just hope that one day he will obtain what he deserves. No, not the medal, not even close. And here's for you to understand the situation with defense lines in Zaporizhzhia direction. Russians are trying to attack alongside the Dnipro River, also towards Orikhiv, and also the advance from this side. As for Ukraine, well, it has multiple of the forces and what is more important, defense lines. The defense lines are similar to those that Russia built on territory of occupied Kherson Oblast. From what I see, they're definitely robust, but there are some of the flaws, like for example, this area could be taken by Russia, for example, and they might go behind those defense lines to the open, vast areas where just occasionally there are some of the trenches. And the defense of the eastern flank of Zaporizhzhia, well, I wouldn't say it's too strong, no. Zaporizhzhia is over here, yeah, probably I'm blocking the view. So it's the main goal of the Russian army now to break through this main Ukrainian defense. That's why they're moving mainly from a single direction in Dnipropetrovsk region. Like for example here, yeah, this is the major Russian assault. They're already actually behind those defense lines in this particular region. They penetrated already this line, so they might expand, intensify their attacks, so it's actually the big threat for entire Zaporizhzhia region. That's why Ukraine tries to reinforce this direction, building new defense lines, but I hope it's not too late. Because from what I see, especially in this place, for Russia, it's very profitable actually to concentrate their major strike in this autumn campaign in a specific direction of Velika Novosilka and move behind the front lines with a major force. It's a very dangerous situation for now. Russia broke through defense line in just specific spots. Ukraine tries to stop the advancement, but every day I monitor the front lines and I see the Russian army movement. Like for example, if we check out the deep state military map, it was yesterday, it is today, so every day Russia gets some of the ground under control. And let's go back for 1 month, I think. So it was 1 month ago and it is today. So definitely Russia moves ahead. Together with Kupiansk, it's the most vulnerable direction for Ukraine. Yeah, unfortunately, Ukraine has to concentrate its efforts all around the front lines. And this is the Russian map from the Russian military bloggers. They say that they propelled already towards the central part of Pokrovsk. They publish lots of the, as they say, confirmations, but those could be just separate Russian infantry troops, as they do sometimes with flag operations. Yeah, this is one more map. They say that they were spotted in this place. And yes, sadly, after watching this video, I may confirm that Ukrainian forces in Pokrovsk were ambushed with some of the life losses and more other terrible stuff that I cannot show you here. Well, anyways, it's better not to witness that, so it happened definitely in Pokrovsk. Roughly 2 months ago, Russians ambushed the Ukrainian vehicle on this road, and now they sent their forces more to the central part. So now I would say that it's the chaos in Pokrovsk. There could be the presence of the Russian infantry, also Ukrainian infantry is out there. Urban fights are ongoing, similar to Kupiansk, but Kupiansk is bigger than Pokrovsk. So yeah, we have unfortunately the situation where Russians entered two of the kind of the big settlements of Ukraine. Well, as for Pokrovsk, those are the small sabotage groups, but for Kupiansk, Russia deployed the major forces. Yeah, sometimes Ukraine eliminates Russian supply roads, as it happened in Mirnograd direction. Mirnograd is very close to Pokrovsk, and this road was used by Russians for their supplies. Well, not any longer. It's the road, which is also a dam. My friends, please check out my channel for more videos. For example, I filmed about Gazprom oil refinery Kaboom that happened really far away from Ukraine, but Ukraine may reach those Russian facilities, making chaos in the Russian oil and fuel market. And separate thanks for my Patreon supporters. Guys, you make this content possible. Thanks for you, I am filming it. And I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.